Okay, ladies and gentlemen, question number 8 has to do with MP3 players. And what it tells us is the cost to produce 140 players is $13,000. The cost to produce 200 players is $17,200. Now let me read some more data from the sheet. It also says to assume that the total cost is linearly related to the number of players produced. In other words, y equals mx plus b. That model, the linear model, fits this problem. Somehow that needs to be in the problem because not all models are linear. But on this handout they are. But in life, models are, there's varying types of models. Some are linear, some are quadratic, and then some are, way different. But these are linear models. Okay, now again, as I said on the previous video, if you're my student, you can cross out part A. I'm not interested in the graph of this function. What I am interested in part B is for you finding the cost function. So part B asks you to find C of x. C of x. X is the number of players, C is the cost. So our legend, let's spell it correctly. Our legend is going to look like this. X, C. That's the number of players, that's the cost. So as an ordered pair, this would be written 140, comma, 13,000. And as an ordered pair, this would be written 200, comma, 17,200. Okay? So it's very important to write it correctly. Input, output, input, output. And this is a cost function, so cost is going out, the number of MP3 players is going in. Unfortunately, they did not give us B. They didn't give us the ordered pair 0, comma something, so we've got some work here. We know that C of x is mx plus b. Let's find m. M is the change in cost divided by the change in x. So, what I'm going to do here is change in cost means to subtract. So, I'm going to do this cost minus this one. 17,200 minus 13,000. And on the bottom we're going to do it in the same order. If I started here for y, we're going to start here for x. So this will be 200 minus 140. I put parens around each of these because it's a grouping. It's this entire thing divided by this entire thing. And I enter it in the calculator just as you see it. And when I enter that into the calculator, I come out with the number 70. So, excuse me, so we know C of x equals 70x plus b. Okay? Let's put that on the next page. C of x equals 70x plus b. Now, I take one of the ordered pairs that I had from before. Let's use the ordered pair 140, comma, 13,000. Okay, let's use that ordered pair. This would be C of x, and this would be x. So when I plug in here, C of x would be 13,000 equals 70 times 140 plus b. So let's see, my calculator, 70 times 140 is 9,800. I subtract 9,800 from both sides. And let's see, 13,000 minus 9,800 is 3,200. So, My cost function is mx plus b, which would be 70x plus 3,200. That is my cost function, okay? Now, that's part B. Part C wants to know, what is the amount of the fixed cost? Well, remember what fixed cost means? Fixed cost would be how many you produce, how much it would cost if you produced 0. That's, in other words, if you made nothing. Okay, so in other words, what they're asking us to do is put in a 0. C of 0 would be 70 times 0 plus 3,200, which of course is just 3,200. So and to be completely honest, we really didn't need to put in the 0. We know that B is my fixed cost. In a cost function, B is going to be my fixed cost because if this disappears, I'm left with this number. And the way this would disappear is by putting in a 0. It's kind of a circular, circular logic there. But anyhow, my fixed cost would be $3,200. So that means I'd spend $3,200 for producing no MP3 players. Okay, part D says, what is the total cost to produce 300 players? Okay, I have my function, C of x equals 70x plus 3,200. And if I want to know the cost for producing 300 players, that means x is 300. So we have 70 times 300 plus 3,200. And when I calculate that out, I'm going to come out with 24,200. So that is my answer to part D. Excuse me. And let's see what part E wants. What is the cost to produce each additional player? People, that's just the slope. The answer is $70. And the logic behind it we've been through on previous problems. The cost to produce each additional player is $70 for this reason. Remember what slope is. In a linear function, slope is a rate of change. If the slope, watch how I'm reasoning this, if the slope is 70, that means 70 over 1. So for each additional 1 player I make, the cost will be $70. So what they're really asking you for is, what's the slope? And if you think of 70 as 70 over 1, $70 for 1 additional player. And we're done.